All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Sakamoto Days. I can't wait to see where this next chapter is about to take us, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples! Qushu92 here. Welcome back to more Sakamoto Days. In the last chapter, we had Sakamoto clashing with Uzuki, their ideals clashing with each other, words clashing with one another, and when it looks like Uzuki has his hand on Old Man Takamoto's katana again, Sakamoto has his hand on his old apron again, and now he's saying, alright Uzuki, let's go ahead and finish this once and for all. And we're getting another chapter after this, so let's see what happens in Days 265, Atari's reading. And we're centering on Boiled and Kendaka. Boiled and Kendaka, and they're both looking a little bit winded.
What gives? We keep trying to get to Sakamoto and these JAA guys won't stop attacking us. No matter how many we take out, they just keep coming. Hey, do you think this could be...
And they're both looking at Atari, because remember when Atari said like there was just nothing but bad luck? Remember when Atari said that she used up all of her luck in order to save Shin? What if that's the same process right now? But they look at Atari and she's just looking at her cards.
Do you think this could be because of Atari's bad luck?
And Atari's just off on the side, just basically smoking. And then we get the doc, the same doc that was looking after Shin. He's going, what a load of unscientific hooey. Quit blaming your own deficiencies on someone else's luck. And both Boyle and Kendaka are looking at each other.
You're still alive, geezer? What's your name again?
You jerks are geezers too. And then Atari just looks up and she picks up a card.
This is bad.
What is?
I'm doing tarot readings on the battle between Sakamoto's gang and the JAA. And no matter how many times I do it, the outcomes turn out really bad.
Because she pulls the death card.
What? But we've already wiped out most of the enemy leaders. All Sakamoto's got to do is defeat X and it's over, right? What do you mean by really bad?
When Slur is pushed to the brink, the real beast slumbering within him will awaken, and nobody will be able to stop him.
And that gets Boyle's attention.
But I thought Takamura's personality was gone. Or is it? No, it can't be.
There's also one more outcome of the catastrophic reading.
And then we cut to Uzuki walking away from the merry-go-round he just sliced apart, sword in hand, and Sakamoto is thinking, I thought Mr. Takamura was gone. And Uzuki's looking at his hand. My hand retains the feel of Takamura's grip on the katana. Are the personas beginning to merge? If so, what percentage of this thought pattern is still me? And then Uzuki starts immediately rushing towards Sakamoto. And Sakamoto takes like a novelty pop gun off to the side and takes aim. But then Uzuki immediately slices the gun and Sakamoto just goes, And then he takes what looks to be like a fan. He takes what looks to be a fan, and then he clashes with Uzuki's sword. Mind you, the amount of force that Sakamoto is applying to Uzuki using a sword is enough to make Uzuki's feet, like, dent into the pavement. But while Uzuki's blocking, he has no way to guard against Sakamoto, basically just kicking him up into the air. You know how Luffy kicked Crocodile into the air in the underground ruins during their final battle in One Piece? He basically kicks Uzuki all the way up into the skyline. And then we have an amusement ride going, Space Shot! 3, 2, 1. And it goes up rapidly. And mind you, there are still people. There are still people on this ride. And Sakamoto just grabs onto the ride and launches himself up into the air so he can meet Uzuki. And they both clash with one. Uzuki looks like he stabs directly into Sakamoto's arm, while Sakamoto kicks him directly in his ribs. And Uzuki is coughing up blood from the hit, and Sakamoto is bleeding from the stab. And then we get people who are on the merry-go-round going, on the Ferris wheel going, wow, what beautiful fireworks.
Right?
Let go. How about you let go first? And while they're falling, I thought it was going to be someone, but no, while they fall into the path of one of those swinging boat rides that like can go back and forth, but go all around. And they both get slammed by this. And sent flying. I want to ride that next. And then it looks like Uzuki and Sakamoto appear to land on a roller coaster.
In this battle, Taro Sakamoto will die.
And that's the reading that Atari sees. As Uzuki and Sakamoto are still fighting. This chapter, now this was a bit of a light, I'm not going to call it a light chapter because there was quite a bit happening here, but Atari's reading is that no matter how many times she tries to do a reading, it always winds up bad. When Slur is pushed to the brink, the real beast slumbering within him will awaken, and nobody will be able to stop him. And that's just one outcome, meaning that something is about to happen to Uzuki that is going to make him truly unstoppable. There's a reason why Gaku woke up. Something is about to awaken within Uzuki. Like, think of this. I see Uzuki the same way I see that one guy from Split. He can have all these personas, each with their own capabilities, but there's one that many other personas either kowtow to, basically kneel to, or obey, or is basically seen, and I'm just now realizing, wow, I am way off. Sorry about that. It's supposed to be I'm really supposed to be centered. There we go. I'm not as centered as I should be. Sorry about that. But it's really, I really got to angle this thing better. Yeah, I'll do it later. But really, what this is I see this like the one dude from Split, where all these personas exist, but they all kneel to the beast. Many of them look at the beast as like this reverend figure. And I feel like that is something that is going to be a moment for Uzuki that fully wakes up. Whether this means that his personalities are going to merge into one or not remains to be seen. Because that would be a very dangerous mix if the persona of Rion and Takamura, which is apparently still present, it's not fully gone, it's just heavily suppressed. If they merge into one, then that means we'll have Uzuki with the strength, power, and speed of Takamura, but with the precise path of killing precision of Rion. And that would be bad. Mind you, he's used that before, but a persona that is specifically those two in full would definitely be dangerous. So, yeah, it's really just like a whole fight with Uzuki and Sakamoto, and they're fighting. And Uzuki can tell that something is different. My hand retains the feel of Takamura's grip on the katana. So while his mind isn't Takamura, certain parts of his body are still are behaving as if they're Takamura. Specifically, the grip on his sword. Are the personas beginning to merge? If so, what percentage of this thought pattern is still me? So even Uzuki is wondering, like, if everything that's going on in my head, is this all 100% me? Or is it, different personas starting to find their way in there? And then, of course, it's just multiple series of panels of them both finding each other. And when they both launch into the air, they both meet each other and they both land substantial hits on one another. Sakamoto hits Uzuki hard enough to draw blood from his mouth, while Uzuki stabs him directly into the shoulder. And then they get launched off to the side on top of a roller coaster, where Atari says that the other outcome is that in this bout, if I go back, yeah, there's also one more outcome of the catastrophic reading, which is in this battle, Taro Sakamoto will die. Mind you, we just witnessed this man basically almost die and go into a coma. So I don't know if him dying is going to definitely be something like that actually happens. But that's what Atari is seeing. And no matter how much she tries to get like a reading on something different, she just sees the death of Sakamoto. That's basically what this chapter was. Overall, this is a very interesting chapter, and we're not going on break for this one either. This was, and I feel that it went faster simply because it was way more action oriented. So more action panels that don't have any speaking in it, they tend to go way faster in comparison to many other things that I read half the time. So if this is short, it's simply because there was a lot of action scenes in this one. But Sakamoto and Uzuki are about to truly face off right now. Now, I hear family coming in with food. I have some things to say. Yeah, I have some things to say, but let me help them bring some of this stuff in real quick. And then I'll say what I need to say, and then we'll call it a session. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Got my food, so I'm gonna eat that after this, and then I'll get started with Hunter x Hunter a little bit later on. So really, 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 real talk. This was basically a reading of Atari that things are about to get bad very quickly. Something about Uzuki is about to awaken. Not only that, but she's projecting and thinking that Sakamoto is going to die in this battle. Mind you, he already had an almost near death experience, so I don't know if it's going to turn out that way. But I come back to the thought of Gaku, who really wants to square off against Sakamoto to settle the score. So either one of the things that we've talked about and discussed before, such as Nagumo coming in or Gaku coming in, either one of those things seem way more likely with the presence of this new beast within Uzuki suddenly going to emerge. And mind you, Kindaka's all like, but I thought Takamoto's persona was gone. Or is it, no, it can't be. And Kindaka is thinking of something way worse than just the Takamoto persona coming back up. It's something worse than that. So it remains to be seen what it is. Either it's going to be a complete fusion of all the personas, and thus Uzuki will be able to use every aspect of it without actually changing personalities in general, or something brand new is going to appear as a result of all of this fighting. It remains to be seen. It's going to be interesting to see how Gaku or Nagumo plays a part in this, if they do truly play a part in this. But we'll have to see in the next chapter. Very interesting, and we're not going on break, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Like I said, this was a very quick chapter to get through. And I mean, it set out what it wanted to do. It was very action-oriented, and we have something new that's going to be popping up for Uzuki as this fight continues on. So things might start to get kind of bad, because everyone else who has fought their adversaries are either very tired or out of commission. Shin is unconscious because of his fight with Tanabata. Shishiba and Nagumo, they're fully recuperating, along with, and Osaragi, she's recuperating as well. Everyone who fought like a member of the Order, some of them are, like, healed up enough, but it remains to be seen if they're going to actually play a part in the battle as it starts to take ahead, it would seem. Starts to turn ahead. So we're just going to have to see how things go from there. But overall, pretty decent chapter, but I'm also concerned about what this new beast is actually going to be for Uzuki. So we're going to have to see how things go from here in the next chapter next Sunday. But overall, had fun. To everyone here, if you're watching this after this live stream went up, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and only if what I did here today was worthy of your time. Check out my membership here on YouTube or my Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. First I eat, then on to the newest chapter of Hunter x Hunter.